Okay, so we're diving into the world of insurance today, everybody. You sent in a ton of stuff from Signal Iduna.
A ton.
It seems like you really want to wrap your head around their products and how insurance works here in Germany,
Yeah.
which I totally get. It can be confusing, right? But also super important. And
Absolutely.
speaking of important, can we just talk about Signal Iduna's tagline for a second? Plans are allowed to fail. Dreams are not.
I love that.
Right. It's like they're giving you permission to mess up.
It's very optimistic, yeah.
Exactly. But your dreams, those are safe and sound.
Exactly. They've got your back. And it's interesting, too, because being a German company,
Oh, yeah, that adds a whole other layer.
there's a certain, association with German companies, right?
Reliability, for sure.
Reliability, attention to detail, all that good stuff.
Exactly. Which
Yeah.
seems like a pretty good fit for, the whole insurance thing.
Makes sense, right?
Big time. But, okay, let's not get bogged down with the company itself. We want to get to the good stuff, the actual insurance. And, wow, they have a lot to offer. I mean, job bike insurance.
Right. That's a new one.
That was a new one for me. It's like, what will they think of next?
It shows they're really, I think, in tune with how people's lives are changing, especially in Germany with the bikes and, different work situations and all of that.
Absolutely. So they've got everything from your, the expected car, home, life insurance to these really niche products. But before we get totally lost in this sea of policies, I want to zoom in on a couple of key concerns their articles address, stuff that I think you're probably thinking about too.
For sure, yeah. The important stuff.
Okay, so first up, private versus public health insurance.
The age-old debate.
Right, this is like always a hot topic in Germany,
Always.
especially with all the changes coming in 2024. And Signal Iduna seems to have a lot to say about it.
They do, and I think it's really helpful because this is where it gets very confusing for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. And trying to figure it all out on your own. Good luck.
Right, and they break it down.
Like, for example, that whole Versicherungspflichtengrenz thing.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Right. Like, what even is that? Is that like a magic number that determines your whole health insurance destiny?
It kind of is. So basically, Versicherungspflichtgrenz, it's the income threshold.
Okay.
In Germany, that determines whether you are required to have public health insurance or whether you can choose private.
Oh, okay.
So if you make below this magic number,
Right.
public,
Okay.
above,
Yeah. Okay.
you have a choice. And Signal Iduna has a great article on this.
Oh, I bet they do.
It actually quotes their own expert, David Blasing, and he breaks it down really simply.
So if I'm making bank, I can go private. But if not, public it is. And I'm assuming Signal Iduna is like waiting in the wings with private health insurance options if that's the case.
Exactly. They've got you covered either way.
Okay, that makes sense. Like they're saying, we're here to hold your hand through this crazy world of German healthcare, whatever your situation.
No matter what.
Exactly. But hey, let's not forget about our homes. They have a whole stack of articles on home insurance too, which I'm sure we can all relate to, right?
Of course. Yeah, that's a biggie.
It is. Because who hasn't had like a leaky faucet or something,
Or worse, right? You never know.
Exactly. And one article I thought was super relevant, especially these days, is the one about what happens to your policy if you move.
Oh, yeah, because people are moving all the time now.
All the time. Especially in cities like, a lot of German cities, really.
It's true. And it's not always clear, so that's good that they address it.
Right. And they actually, explain it.
Yeah, the steps you need to take and all that.
It's not just, call your insurance agent, which, let's be honest, none of us really want to do.
No one wants to make that call.
And it's not even just about, moving across town. They talk about what if you're, working remotely from, I don't know, Thailand.
Right. What happens then?
Exactly. You'd think, hey, I've got insurance, I'm good. But
Not so fast.
not so fast.
They actually say you really have to check your policy because your health insurance might not be valid, even if you're just working remotely.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah, especially for digital nomads and stuff.
It's like they're one step ahead,
Yeah,
thinking about those what-if scenarios.
totally. And speaking of what ifs, I wanted to touch on that article about what happens to children if both parents die.
Ooh,
Yeah,
the heavy stuff.
that's getting real, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's important.
Super important. And it's like, how do you even plan for that?
Right, and Signal Iduna actually handles this really well. They emphasize having those conversations.
Oh, good.
Don't avoid them.
Right.
Have those tough conversations. Make sure you have a plan because you want to protect your loved ones, especially your kids.
Of course. It's like back to that tagline, right? Plans are allowed to fail, dreams are not.
Exactly. Protect those dreams. And, it's not all doom and gloom. They actually offer solutions like life insurance
Right.
to help you navigate those situations.
So you're not just like left high and dry.
Exactly. They even talk about like what happens if your kids inherit debt.
Wait, what? Inherit debt?
Yeah, it happens.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, it's not uncommon for outstanding debts to be passed on.
Oh, wow.
So Signal Iduna, they actually talk about how, life insurance can cover that so your beneficiaries aren't stuck.
Okay, so it's like peace of mind for everyone.
Exactly.
Wow. I learn something new every day.
Right. It's a lot to think about, but it's good they bring it up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we go back to Unterversicherungsverzicht? Because you explained it before, and I think I kind of get it, but
It's a mouthful, I know.
it's a mouthful, and I'm still a little fuzzy on the detail.
Sure. Basically, it means waiver of underinsurance. And it's something that can be included in home insurance policies to protect you if you accidentally undervalue your belongings.
Okay, so like, give me an example.
Okay, so let's say you inherited, I don't know, your grandmother's antique furniture.
Right.
But you have no idea what it's worth.
Who does?
Right. But then something happens, there's a fire, and you need to replace it. This clause can help cover the cost even though you underestimated the value when you took out the policy.
So it's like a safety net for those of us who don't know our antiques.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really good to know. It seems like Signal Iduna really thinks of everything
You really do.
with their home insurance. I mean, it's not just like the basics. It's all these
The details.
the details. And you mentioned earlier that they offer insurance for some pretty niche things.
Oh, yeah, they do. And it's really interesting because it shows they're paying attention to how people live their lives.
It's very of the moment, you know.
It is. We talked about job bike insurance,
Yeah.
but they also have e-bikes, drones, all kinds of stuff.
Wow. So if you crash your drone,
They've got you covered.
you're covered.
They're like, whatever your passion is.
That's amazing. And it makes sense, right? Because as technology changes and as people are into different things, insurance needs to keep up.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
not just about your car and your house anymore.
Right, exactly. It's about those things that, you really care about, whatever they are.
Exactly.
And they're doing it in a way that's, it's comprehensive, but it's also, like, easy to understand.
Right, which can be hard to find with insurance sometimes.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, as you were going through all this material, was there anything that really stood out to you? Like, besides the Versicherungspflichtgrins? Because we've thoroughly covered that.
Oh, we've covered that one. I think one thing that really struck me was their focus on education.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's clear they want people to understand their options.
Not just, like, sell them something.
Right. They want to empower their customers, and they do that by explaining things clearly.
Right.
It's not like reading a textbook, you know?
No, it's not like, overly salesy either.
Exactly.
It's like, here's the information, we're going to explain it to you, and you decide.
Exactly.
Which is kind of refreshing.
It is. And they even make it fun sometimes.
They do. Like, who knew that you could get tips on making teeth brushing fun for kids from an insurance company?
Right. Where'd that come from?
I know. But I love that they include those little things.
Me too. It shows they're thinking about the whole picture.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, this whole deep dive has been really eye-opening in terms of, like, the ins and outs of insurance here in Germany.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
It is. But it makes you wonder, what happens when you, like, leave Germany?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right. Like, does it all go out the window? If I want to go work remotely from Bali or, like, send my kid to study in Paris, what then?
That is a great question, and you're in luck because Signal Iduna actually addresses this in some of their materials.
Well, they do.
Yeah, they emphasize that insurance needs and options can be totally different when you cross borders.
Okay.
So what's considered essential in Germany might not be the same somewhere else, even within the EU.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just, like, pack your bags and go.
Right.
You have to pack your insurance, too.
It's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
They actually give an example of someone who's working remotely from Bali thinking they're covered by their German health insurance, and it's like, not so much.
Yikes.
Which is a tough lesson to learn if you're, like, having a medical emergency or something.
Oh, absolutely. The worst time to find that out.
Right. And it's not just, like, the remote work situation. You think about students studying abroad.
Oh, right.
Their coverage might not be enough or even valid.
So if I'm sending my kid off to, like, find themselves in Europe or something.
Backpack through Europe.
Right. Insurance, like, top of the list.
Just as important as those extra socks, you know?
Absolutely. And travel insurance in general, whether it's like a vacation or a work trip, but especially when you're outside of Germany.
Especially then, for sure. Because you just never know.
Right, because, I mean, lost luggage is one thing.
Oh, yeah.
But what if I, like, need to be airlifted off a mountain?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Those worst case scenarios. But Signal Iduna has options for that.
Okay.
Different, like, plans
And you can find what you need.
Exactly, to give you that peace of mind.
Because, like, as much as we love a good plan, sometimes
Does that happen?
things happen. Life, right?
It's unpredictable.
It is. But like Signal Iduna says, plans are allowed to fail, dreams are not.
There you go. So protect those dreams,
Yep.
whether it's travel or work or studies, whatever it is.
Don't let anything hold you back.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so to wrap things up, it seems like Signal Iduna has really thought of everything, whether you're like living your life here in Germany or, jet setting around the world.
They've got you covered no matter what.
And they're not just like throwing policies at you. They really want you to understand it and feel good about your choices, which I think is really important.
Absolutely.
It makes a huge difference.
Huge difference.
So, as we close out this deep dive into Signal Iduna, I think the biggest takeaway is that insurance doesn't have to be scary.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
With a little planning and, doing your research.
And then asking the right questions.
Exactly. You can really protect those dreams, big or small, and just like face whatever life throws at you.
Exactly. Confidence. Peace of mind.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.
See you later.